Our dear Heavenly Father, who art in heaven, I'd like to come to Thee this morning. Thank you so much for the gift of life. Thank you for the opportunity for us to be here, and this is such a beautiful day. And as we're going to share your word, may you be with us, guide us, and let us learn what you want us to learn this morning. For this we pray, trusting and believing in Thy almighty name. Amen. Happy Sabbath. Good to see all of you here today. It's such a beautiful day. And also, the time of the year that I chose to speak, I think happened to be the right time. So I'm going to put a little caveat. Hopefully, by the end of this message, we'll still be friends. The reason I'm saying that is, being the month of December, when you're asked to give a sermon, it becomes so hard because, one, you have to think how to phrase or how to bring out the message based on the season. And the reason why I'm saying that is this is one of those seasons where people don't see it eye to eye. Depending on who you speak to, we have different views of what December or the month of December is and what it should be. And if I today ask to take a vote, which I'm not going to ask, on what you think of December and Christmas, I bet we'll be divided into halves. There are few who have the intuition that it's a month of birth of Jesus Christ where we should celebrate, and there are others on the other side of the aisle who think it's a pagan season that should not even be celebrated. But so that you see, as I'm telling you this puts me in a very hard situation. How do I present my message in such a way that at the end of the day I still have friends on both aisles? So I'm going to have a sermon today, and it's entitled, When the Messiah Comes. And another thing is somebody will look at it and say, why did you pick the Samaritan woman at this time of the year to bring your message? And that's even better, because that the more curious you are, the more you're going to listen and see how I bring it around. And I hope by the end of this message, we will all still be awake and will have appreciated the story of the Samaritan woman from the perspective of Christmas. I have a little story. I have a lot of stories, but I have to decide which one to pick and which one to present. And I'll give a few, just for a few illustrations as we go through the sermon. And hopefully I'll get you out of here on time. So one of them is that there was a king. There's a story told about a king. And he had a birthday party. And he told all his people in his kingdom, I'm having a celebration for my birthday, and I want all of you to come to my birthday, and I appreciate any gift that you can bring. So the people in the kingdom looked at the king and they said, wait a second, this is the guy who has everything. He has everything at his disposal. He has everything that he can think of. So what is it that I can take to this guy? So some of them probably brought a spoon. Some brought whatever, the small gifts, because after all, he's the king, he doesn't need anything. After the celebration, it was over, he told everybody, go to the table, pick up whichever gift you brought to me. I'm going to open the back door, there's a vault, go in and scoop as much money as you can using the gift that you bring to me. So you can imagine somebody who brought a spoon, how much money he was able to scoop from the vault. So people were so disappointed, those ones who didn't bring gifts that could pick enough, right? So what happened the following year, he said, I have what? I have a birthday, and I want everybody to bring me a gift. So you can imagine how many people drove vehicles there to the king so that they can present it to the what? To the king, with the intention that when he says, I'm opening my vault, they can stack all the money they can on the back of their vehicles and go home. But they were disappointed when the party was over. He said, thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful day until we meet next year. So some of the people may have felt cheated, right? But if you look at that, the question I have for you this morning is, how do you celebrate the king's birthday? Do you make it a mockery of it, or do you really take time to appreciate the king and do what deserved of what the king deserves? And that's the question I want us to think about as I go through the sermon this morning, and we'll look at it. And I'm going to give you a few things here and that I want you to keep in the back of your mind as we go through this sermon. As I said, Christmas is a season that there's no consensus on what or how we should celebrate, or should we not. According to the Wikipedia, which if you Google, and that's just something you just pick up, it says that it's a celebration that is both religious and cultural. So still, even there's no what? Clear definition of what it is. It can be religious or what? Cultural. But it says that it's mostly celebrated by non-Christians. I thought about it, I was like, it's religious and it's cultural. It's celebrated by religious people, but mostly people who celebrate it are non-religious. So, and here's another thing. When I was looking at, there is what they call Retail Consumer Federation statistics. They say that on average, Americans, I'm not going to talk about the world, spend between 700 billion to 1 trillion on the month of December. That is from the cooking, from the gifts, from the Christmas trees, from all the decorations, and whatever it is. Think about that for a second. And if you want to tie this together and see how true that may be, even if you're not a mathematician, how many people do you think get jobs in the month of December who are laid off as soon as Christmas is over? A lot. What does that tell you? It's one of those months where, as consumers, we spend a ton of money. They said that in 2018, the average person is going to spend between $1,000 to whatever it is, 1,000. If we are 400 million of us in the US, if you average 1,000 by 400 million, I'm not going to bother you with the math. Don't bother. You get the point. But I will be so honored that if in my birthday people spend that amount of money. But does the celebration of Jesus Christ, as we all put that, celebration of $1 trillion, do you think it goes to what he deserves as a king? And another thing is, how will you feel if it's Christmas time and everybody's gifting the other people and you're there, it's your birthday, and the people come up with the presents and they start giving each other. They start exchanging gifts in front of you, and it's your birthday. But that's not the point. The point at the end of the day is, this is one of those seasons that when you start talking about it, you're sure to step on people's feet. And depending on different cultures, it means different things for different people. I come from a third world country, and growing up, I never knew what was a Christmas tree. I knew what was Christmas, and I loved it so much because it's the time that I got to wear the best clothes or dress or whatever it is for the year. That's when your parents go to the market. For us who are from Africa and other parts of the world, we know. They go to the market and they buy you the best, right? Of the best. It's the day that you're not going to go to the farm. It's the only day that you are exempted from going to the farm, other than Saturday for Adventist. It's the only few days that you are like, there's no going to the farm, no farm work, nothing. It's just time to enjoy. Then they slaughter the bull or the goat, whatever, depending on your level of society status, whether you're rich or poor, whichever level you are. But at the end of the day most people spend that time to be together and celebrate that. And I don't remember any gifts. You come to the US, and it's one of those things that especially kids look forward to until they grow and become smarter than you, and you start becoming frustrated. One of my coworkers, she was so frustrated when the daughter started questioning about Christmas. She was like, "Mom, you keep on lying to me about Santa. I wake up all night waiting for Santa. I never see him." And she started saying, "If you don't believe in Santa, I'm not going to give you gifts." But the kid was getting smarter. And for kids, it's one of those seasons they always look forward to, whereby we try to bribe them, telling them that if you behave in a certain way during this time of the year, then you're expecting to be rewarded up to a certain level. Think about that. And different people have different traditions. One dad wakes up every Christmas morning, goes out to the snow, gets all his feet wet and all the mud, steps through the house all the way to the Christmas tree. When the kids wake up and say, you see, Santa was here. The only problem with Santa, he doesn't have courtesy of putting on clean shoes when he comes to this house. You see, he brought you gifts, but he messed up my house. So different people have different ways of doing what? Going about it. It means different things for different people. And if you watch so many movies, Christmas movies, it's the time they say that most people fall in love. I don't know how that is. Because those are the movies that you see that somebody went to Christmas in a rural area like in Iowa, and then they went from the big city like New York, and when they left the small city, they went with somebody in the spirit of love. So Christmas means different things for different people. But coming back to us, what does it mean to us as Christians, whether you agree with it or you don't? There's one thing that ties all this, no matter which part of the aisle you are. They all claim to be celebrating the birthday of Jesus Christ. And we as Adventists or as Christians, no matter which way we look at it, there's one thing we agree on. Jesus Christ was born, he came, and he died to save us from this world. Isn't that true? Yes. And the thing about it is, when you look at it, is what is the real meaning? So I want us to go back to our text today, and I want us to spend a little time looking at the Samaritan woman. And we'll tie that and see what is going to teach us today about this month as we all think about it in our own different ways. Let's go to John chapter 4. I'm going to start from verse 1. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to pick a few verses. When therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Jesus made and baptized more disciples than John, though Jesus did not baptize himself, but his disciples, he left Judea and departed again unto Galilee. And he must needs go through Samaria, which is called Sychar, near the parcel ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus therefore being wearied with his journey, and thus on the well, and thus about the 6th hour. So it talks about the hour. Let's talk about that for a second. The 6th hour. What do you think about the 6th hour of the day? About noonish, right? So what goes on around that time? For those of us who grew like in normal, other than just our hard work, office jobs and stuff like that, if you come from a land or a farming era, like the time of Jesus Christ, the 6th hour was one of those times where everybody had retracted for lunchtime, right? Because people used to have lunchtime around that hour. It's noon. And even now, even if you're working in an office or whatever it is, around noontime you start feeling hungry, right? You're like, I need to eat something, depending on what time you started your day. So then something happened. While he was sitting there on the 6th hour, what happened? Let's go down and say, there cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus said unto her, give me a drink. Then the question is, why did this woman choose to come in at the 6th hour? Assuming you have not read the whole story. Why didn't she choose to come in when everybody was at the well? Because after all, this is the time you want to mingle with other ladies and talk about kids, how they're doing, how everybody's doing. And so she chose the hour whereby people had worked very early in the morning. It's very hot during the day. People have gone back to lunch to eat, and probably before they start their afternoon chores. And she chose that 1 hour, that 6th hour, to come with the assumption that there was nobody at the what? At the well. Some people may not understand unless you go back in time and try to retract this and try to think about it, about that time of the day. Here she came and Jesus said, I want what? Give me some water to drink. And what did she, for the disciples had gone away to get some food. And what did she say? Said the Samaritan woman unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest a drink of me, which I am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. And every time we talk about Samaria, or you talk about the good Samaritan, why don't we say the good Jew? We reference the story of the Samaritan man who helped the man who was beat up by the thieves, right? Why do we also get another story of now a Samaritan woman? Is there something that Jesus wants to teach us through these people? And she says something which we now know, that the Jews had no dealings with who? The Samaritans. Jesus uses these people for a reason. They are referenced in the Bible for a reason. It's because they were among the most disregarded people in the community. At that time, there's a time they used to fight between the Jew, the Gentiles, the Samaritans. And if you went to that rank, then the Samaritans were the people who were viewed that they had no dealings with the Jews because of their status. But yet, when you look to their stories, they have taught us so much about what it means to be a human being by the people who are least regarded. When you say the good Samaritan, that means you have to do certain kind of what? Actions or acts towards other people. And Jesus answered and said unto her, if thou knowest the gift of God, and who it is that said unto thee, give me the drink, that thou wouldst have asked him, that he would have given thee living water. Not just any water, just what? Living water. And the woman said unto, Sir, hast thou nothing to draw with? How are you going to do that? And are you bigger than our father Jacob, who gave us this well, so that we may get out of it? So she had not gotten the point up to that point. Then Jesus answered and said, whosoever drinketh this water shall do what? Be thirst. But the water that I give them, they will not be thirst. And then the woman said, wait a second, that will be nice. I don't have to come here. Which means she did not like coming to the well. Are we getting somewhere now? She chose the hour when there was nobody at the well. Right? We established that earlier. And then the second thing is she says, which also gives us another hint, that I want the water so I don't have to come to the well. Some people may say she was an introvert. She didn't want to mingle with people. And probably during that time, it may be our time, whereby you can shop from your home, drive all the way to Target, Carrefour, Walgreens, whatever it is, park your car, somebody come, put your stuff in the trunk, and you head home without ever meeting anybody else. Does that kind of ring a bell? Can you kind of relate with that? How somebody may have thought about that? I don't want to deal with people. I just want to go, now they have this. And people who are marketing, they are very smart. They want to cater for everybody's needs. You don't like shopping? Don't worry. Sit in your computer, pick up whatever it is. We will pick anything for you that has the shortest shelf life. And just come over, dial this number, we will come and we will put it in your trunk, and you'll go home. So probably this woman was like that. But we don't know yet. We have to find something. We have to dig deeper. And then she said, okay, I want that. I am tired. I don't want to be coming here. Probably women in the well had been making a mockery of her. Probably people used to talk so bad about her that she was tired of it. That she didn't want to do what? Let's find out what may have triggered that. Then she went down and said that what? If you go all the way to 16, Jesus said unto her, go call thy husband and come back. Oh, Heathen. And the woman said what? I have no husband. Jesus said to her, thou hast well said, I have no husband. For thou hast had 5 husbands, and whom thou hast right now is not your husband. That said thou the truth. Are we kind of getting why she chose the 6th hour of the day to come to the well? Because she probably was scared the other person I took, the husband, may be scratching my face if I showed up. and she happened to be at the well. So there are so many reasons. But she said that, and if today you came to work and somebody says, hey, go back and bring your husband, and you said, I don't know. And she said, yes, you have said the truth. That's not your husband. You have had 5. Somebody will be like, wait a second. You guys, all you do in this office is gossip about other people. You don't have a life. All you do is just gossip about what is going on in somebody's home. You will take an offense about that. But this woman, she had the courage to say, you know what? You have said the truth. Somebody did not feed you this information. If she had come any other hour, when there were other women out there, she would have probably said, there were other women around here who have been just gossiping about me. That's why you have that kind of information. You will not have had that kind of information if somebody had not given it to you. But she had the courage to say, you know what? I don't have what? A husband. And Jesus went ahead and said, you have had 5. I said, wow. How did you know that? Then after Jesus said that, then the woman took a step back and says, I now perceive that you are what? You are a prophet. And then this is what kind of caught my attention. If you go down, it says, our father worshipped on this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. So that means she had some kind of religion, or she had some kind of information about religion, right? Because she said she did worship. Then the question you ask yourself is, if she used to worship, then why was she doing what she was doing? And Jesus answered and said unto her, woman, believe me, the hour cometh when thou neither in this mountain or yet in Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship what you know not, we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Now you kind of see why she referenced previously that the Jews had no dealings with who? The Samaritans. Because according to the Jews, the Samaritans did not know who they were worshiping. The salvation was for them. And then she said, but the hour cometh, and is now, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to do what? To worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And this is the key text of our day today. The woman said unto him, I know that the Messiah cometh, which is called Christ. When he is come, he will tell us all things. So, brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter what your well is. It doesn't matter what makes you uncomfortable. But the truth is that the Messiah did what? Come. And it's amazing that the person who was thought of as being less in the community, as being the least in the community, had this kind of information. That the other people who had the opportunity to be around Jesus Christ did not even accept him. How many people sought to kill Jesus Christ before he met with this lady? And those people who sought to kill Jesus, they were theologians. True or false? True. They had read the message. They had read the writings of Moses. They had all tried to use those writings to trap Jesus Christ, that they lost the meaning of why he was there in the first place. Even at a certain point, Jesus said, you know what? The prophet is not what? Respected in his hometown. Yet this lady, who had not gone to theology school, who does not mention anything else about all this, are you bigger than Moses? Are you bigger than Elijah? Are you bigger than who? Are you doing blasphemy? Had the nerve to say, you know what? I know that the Messiah comes, which means she had the desire within her that when the Messiah comes, he's going to explain certain things that I don't understand. Is there a possibility that there are people out there who are spending tons of money celebrating this holiday, who within their heart, they're like, you know what, we celebrate this Messiah, this Jesus Christ that we don't know of, but when he probably cometh, he's going to make it all right. Is there a possibility there's somebody out there who is celebrating about this birth of Christ, who is the Messiah, who has the desire like this woman, who says, I'm a pagan, I don't know what I am, I'm just doing this for cultural reasons. We said we have religious reason and cultural reasons. There's somebody who's doing it for cultural reasons. The only component that is missing in their life is the religious aspect. And the person who is supposed to instill that religious aspect about the work of Jesus Christ is sitting on the other side of the aisle condemning this other person. How do you take this opportunity where everybody is super excited celebrating about Jesus Christ to instill a message about who is this Jesus Christ that you believe in, despite the fact that you still don't believe in Christmas? Because this is the time you see everybody excited. This is the only time you talk freely and say, what? Christ Jesus was born. This is where people sing all the Christmas carols, which have this. Probably, is there a possibility that you can be talking of something you know, but you don't know about? There's a difference between knowing and knowing about. I know a car takes me about from point A to point B, but I don't know everything about the car. I don't know how the combustion happens. I don't know how the engine works. All I know is I know a car takes me. So you can see the demarcation between knowing about and knowing. There are people who know that they are celebrating Jesus Christ, but they do not know about Jesus Christ. And Jesus did not take the opportunity to condemn this woman that you're a sinner, you don't believe on what you're worshiping. But he said, you know what? Here is the truth. This is when the Messiah cometh, there's no time we're going to be having the demarcation that you have to worship in Jerusalem or in Samaria. But God seeks the people who worship him in spirit and truth. And for God deserves people like those. And then the woman, she did not hear anything. After that, what happened about that? Now I want you guys to finish this story with me. What happens with the Samaritan woman? What happened? Yes, she left her pot at the well and took off. Right? She forgot about everything. So what does that tell you? And the thing about this is, I do practice a little bit about public speaking. And I listen to a few people when they tell you when you're going to public speaking how sometimes you have to emulate Jesus Christ. He's the only public speaker or somebody who preaches, who uses simple words but leads to conviction. Jesus did not have a 3-hour sermon with the lady. True. But she was so convicted within that little time that she had with Jesus Christ that she forgot about the water that she came to fetch and took off. She forgot about what women look at her in the village, like a husband snatcher or whatever you want to call her. She forgot about what the community thinks about her. But the moment she met Jesus Christ, who she had been waiting for so long, saying, you know what, when the Messiah, who is Jesus Christ, comes, he will tell us all things. Did Jesus tell her all things? No. Jesus only told her a part of it. But she was able to bring the whole village for Jesus to tell them all things that they have been waiting for. And that is the message of salvation. And that's why it becomes tricky. It doesn't matter how you look at this woman. All you have to do is look at the simplicity of Jesus' message. So we don't have to be theologians to spend this holiday telling people about Jesus Christ. If you are convicted that Jesus Christ came and died on the cross for you to be saved and be here today, then all you have to tell people is, you know what, when the Messiah who we are celebrating came, you know what, he taught us that he is coming again and we ought to be ready for his second coming. And I always tell, this is the time that you can freely talk about Jesus Christ even at work without offending anybody. True or false? True, so. But the reason why is if you want to know it's true, sometimes I think about it, why do they play Christmas tunes all through where you work, all throughout the day, irrespective of who is working that office? Where I work, they have been playing it from after Thanksgiving. They switched around. Every now you hear is music about Christmas going back and forth, going back and forth, going back and forth for the 8 hours, 10 hours that I work. And I'm like, you know what? They are playing it freely. You call and they say, hold on for the next person who will be there to help you. What do you hear in the back of the music, the phone? A Christian? Or whatever, a Christmas music? Do they ask you which kind of music do you like to listen while you're waiting to be served? They don't. Which means, like, while we are spending time fighting on which side of the aisle you are, why don't we look around and look like this Samaritan woman? I don't care which side of it. This time, I'm convicted that Jesus came, and I'm going to spend this opportunity to tell people who Jesus Christ is. And she took off. And here's the good thing. The people followed her. The people, when she came and said, come on down. Come and see the guy who has told me everything I ever did. They did not judge her character. Did they? They took off. They followed the woman. And then Jesus was able to stay there for about 3 days. And by the end of his adventure there, they said, we have believed not because you told us, but because you have heard for ourselves. That is if you keep on reading until the end. So, take this opportunity. Just invite somebody, even to church during this month. Say, hey, we have Christmas service. Why don't you just come? You never know. That may be the turning point of that person. You may never know. You may not present the message the way a pastor will present. I'm not a theologian by any way or form. I never go to theology school. But sometimes when I sit back and look around the people around me, I'm here to think, what is some of the lessons we can learn from certain people? So, one thing, the Samaritan woman did not know that Christ was there. We are fortunate to know that Jesus Christ did what? Did come. And here's another thing that kind of disturbs, if you read, I'm going to look, let's turn into our Bible, into Matthew chapter 21, verse 32. Who's going to read for us? Or somebody can just open the Bible and just look at it as I get there. And we'll read together. Yes. Are we there? For John came unto you the way of righteousness, and you believed him not. Right? And ye, when I had seen it, it says, you go down there, unto ye in the way righteousness, believed him not. But the publicans and the harlots believed him. And ye, when he had seen it, repented not afterward, that he might believe in him. So you hear that there are people that Jesus Christ came around to talk to, right? They did not believe him. But who believed in John? Yes. The tax collectors and the? Yes. And even the Bible goes further to say, be careful that the publicans or the tax collectors and the harlots or prostitutes will make it to the kingdom of heaven before you. So is there a possibility that you can be so stuck in your way that the people you least regard because of their view that make it to heaven before you? How would that be so sad? So the people you may think they have a different view of you because you are too religious or you are demarcated on this issue, don't be surprised if they make it before you. How many Jews do not believe the message of Jesus Christ and who may miss the kingdom? But the lady who was a Samaritan woman, who was regarded as the least in their time, believed in this Jesus Christ that people are celebrating, and they may make it to heaven. So, at the end of the day, here's the conclusion of this. Brothers and sisters, this is a month where there's a lot of happiness in the air. Where people, depending on who you speak to, have different views of what this month is all about. But no matter what this month is all about, we as Christians, to us, Christ has been all about, we have been thinking about all throughout the year. To us, this is not a cultural thing. To us, it's a religious thing that is within us, that we know what, we celebrate Jesus Christ all year round. But my call to you is that don't let us be so hung up on the fact that, yes, we've been celebrating Jesus throughout the year, that we miss the opportunity to minister to other people who are spending this time celebrating about that Jesus Christ that we celebrate every Sabbath and every day of our lives. Let's take this opportunity when people are so happy, invite them to your homes. Invite them to wherever you are. Take that opportunity to easily tell them, you know, guys, we are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, and I, as an Adventist, I'm taking this opportunity to tell you how I'm convicted about this man that we are celebrating today. Tell them about the conviction that you have within you about Jesus Christ, whom they are celebrating even if they don't know. Just as Jesus said, you Samaritans, you don't know who you worship. As the Jews, we do know. But he did not take that minute to condemn him, but he took that minute to minister to that lady. And in so doing, he was able to minister to even more people through her. So you never know who it is. And as we go through this month, and in so many ways, let us take a minute to do what? To enjoy and look about Jesus Christ and think about him and think what he has done to us. And you know what? At the end of the day is we will be able to convict other people who even not have the same views that we may have about this season. Because it's the system, I think to me is the time that it's neutral ground. Where people, whether Christians, non-Christians, or whoever it is, whatever it means to them, whatever it means to you, just take this opportunity to spend time just like the Samaritan woman, to say, you know what, while she was convicted that the Messiah was going to come and explain all things, we are convicted that the Messiah came and he died for us, and we still believe that whether we don't agree, we don't know what the date he was born, what time, and all the things, we know he was born, he lived, he preached, he taught in this world, and we emulate him. That's why we are Christians. And let's reach out on the other side of the aisle and, you know what, proclaim the Messiah that we know. Unlike the woman who did not know about her until she met Jesus at the well. Have a blessed Sabbath day. Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, what in heaven, thank you so much for the time you spent to learn from the Samaritan woman. While she had a desire within her heart that when the Christ, who is the Messiah, cometh, you will explain everything. We are so glad that we are living there where you came. And we know that you did come and you died for us. And as the music has said, let's go tell it out on the mountain that you are born. Let's spend this time of the year trying to, as people are in the mood of celebrating your birthday, despite of all the differences that we have of opinion about the date and the time, but we do know for sure that you did come. Let's take this opportunity to pass that message along to other people that we are convicted that you came and you died for us, just like the Samaritan woman, and we are convinced that you, in due time, you'll make it all known for even those people who don't believe. Let your will be done. Dismiss us with your blessings and keep us safe until we meet here again. For we pray, trust and believe in thy mighty name. Amen.